What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kind of Funny's Studio Ghibli Miyazaki in review. That's right. We are ranking and reviewing every movie written and directed by Hayao Miyazaki. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Good morning, Tim.
The Big Dog, Kevin Coelho. The producer slash deducer, Nick Scarpino.
What's up, everybody?
And Ubisoft's own, Belinda Garcia.
What's up, Tim?
I'm excited for this, guys. I'm excited to talk to you. It's been too long. Actually, this is the shortest it's ever been since we've all talked to each other because we normally do this show on Fridays, but because we're doing Mulan this Friday here on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames live, we had to switch the schedule up a little bit. Next week on Tuesdays, it will be the beginning of Batman in review. Nick, how do you feel about that?
I've been waiting for this one my whole life. I feels like. The only thing that would have been better than this is just RoboCop in review, where we just talk about RoboCop 1 and RoboCop 2. And that's it.
We need to work our way up to
10.
Vietnam karate fighter or whatever it was.
You guys are just narrow-minded. Let's just put it.
Nick has to have an in review by himself where he just talks about that movie.
Oh my god!
I just want to do. I can't wait until we get to the point where we can do like groupings of people's movies, because I want to do like Schwarzenegger in review so bad. And of course, by the time we get around to it, Total Recall and Running Man will not be free on Amazon Prime, and I'll be heartbroken. It's gotten to the point where I'm like, I'll get to a movie that I really want to watch again. I'll go, maybe I should hold off on this because I don't know what Tim has planned for next week.
I can tell you it's not Schwarzenegger in review, so feel free to watch Total Recall.
Okay,
this
cool.
weekend. Ladies and gentlemen,
remember when you I was just gonna say, remember when you blamed the delay of John Wick 4 on Tim?
I hate this place so much. You can watch this show live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, or you can watch it later on youtube.com/kindoffunny or roosterteeth.com. If you want to listen, just search for Kind of Funny Reviews on your favorite podcast service, and we'll be right there for you. You can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to get this show ad free, just like our Patreon producers, Muhammad and Al Tribesman did. Thank you guys very much for your support. Today, we are talking about Howl's Moving Castle, released on September 4th, 2004. Once again, directed by Hayao Miyazaki. A budget of $24 million, box office of $236 million, runtime of 2 hours. For awards, it was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature at the Academy Awards, but lost to guess what, you guys?
Well, okay, 2004.
Yes.
Cars
Shrek
2.
3.
Hold on.
You guys will never guess.
Oh,
fuck. I don't know.
Wallace
release
Gromit,
Princess
The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
God, the classic.
That did look really
classic.
good. It looked exceptional.
It's one of those movies, Kevin, where you're like, it's pretty rare to see or hear a British child. Like, that's one of those that I would have been like.
Fun fact,
rare.
Andy, because Nick always does the list of things he's scared of. British children make me very uncomfortable. They always seem much smarter than a child should. You know what I mean?
They understand how candy works. Wait, Andy, can we go back for a second? Because you said you've never
really
heard
creepy.
a British child?
No, it's
we were doing the DC fandom the other day,
I see.
and they had a little claymation skit. Well, one of the kids was talking, and he was talking like this, and I was like, you don't often hear British children,
You don't. They keep them away from us because
they're pretty rare.
They're scary. They're intellectuals. Yeah.
Oh, God. It's dangerous territory where it's like it's not actually offensive yet, but like at any moment someone might say or do something.
That's all.
And believe me, I got replies from Lucy James. I got replies from a lot of people that I know that are from across the pond, and they're like, Andy, Harry Potter. I went, no, I mean more like babies, like 3-year-old toddlers, 4. Bob told me that I was going to do this today, and it's like you never.
Terrifying.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
exactly.
please
Kevin.
don't touch me.
Yeah.
Put a shiver down your spine.
They all talk at a 4th grade level. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Talking a 4th grade level. All right, let's get to talking about this movie here.
how did we get here?
In 2013, Miyazaki said the film was his favorite creation, explaining, "I wanted to convey the message that life is worth living, and I don't think that's changed." That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, Miyazaki. I will say for this movie that it is, I think, so far the most gorgeous. It's obviously the best animated, just because
How many colors?
Whoa.
I couldn't find the colors, man. I wish there was a little bit more consistency.
Oh yeah, you
That's
used
Tim.
colors last week either.
Yeah, I try my best, you guys. It's
Well,
just
Tim,
sometimes
I
that
want you
information finds me, sometimes it doesn't.
I want you to break into Ghibli and like I want you to study this stuff, okay? Like I don't come here to hear all these other fools talk on this panel. I want to know the
You want the
amount of
facts.
colors in this damn
Harsh.
movie.
Wait,
Yeah.
even me.
That's what I
Andy?
want.
Nah, you're cool.
Especially you.
This is what I want from Tim. I want Tim to be, after we're done with this, I want Tim to like be able to like beautiful mind it, where he just looks at it and goes, it's 275 colors. You know, you just look at a frame and you're just like Rain Man, you know what I mean? Where they drop the things and you just know them all at the same time.
Toothpicks.
Yeah. The funniest thing to me is I would say that there is a 20% rate of me saying something as a fact, and it's like not true at all.
Oh, I
And
do
it's
that all the
like,
time, Tim.
Come on.
because I saw it on a website. It's not that I'm making it up. It's that
No.
like the website lied. I'm like, well, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to do. You know
I'll tell
I
you
mean?
what is. I'll
Wait.
tell you what is a fact. It's Belinda's birthday today.
Yeah.
Is it really?
Terrible friends.
Happy
It
birthday.
is.
We're
Thank
all
you.
terrible.
We all knew we were waiting.
Belinda,
Happy birthday. We have a graphic set up. Hold
Thank
on,
you,
let me
chat.
hit
Yeah.
it. Let me hit it.
No, we
Yeah.
don't.
Oh,
Stop this.
It's not working.
Oh damn.
Damn.
Oh,
All
that's
right,
unfortunate.
figure it out.
Belinda,
Know
you
that
should have
was
seen
full
it.
of a lot of British children.
I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
it's
British
beautiful.
children.
Me and Nick
Honestly.
worked for 2 weeks.
Lots of lasers and
Belinda, for your birthday today,
Quicksand.
just quicksand lasers and water snakes, and small children. For your birthday today, I will say this for you.
I don't
I'll be
feel
on your
comfortable
side
already.
if you want to put Spirited Away above Howl's Moving Castle. Happy birthday.
thanks. That was gonna
Okay.
happen anyway.
Well, I'm saying I'm on your side on this. It's the easiest birthday present I've ever given in my life.
Love it.
Well,
Thanks,
happy
Nick.
birthday, Belinda, and I'm sorry you're
Thanks.
spending it with us, but we appreciate it.
Just a little
Come
bit.
on.
Just that you
We
can
got
forget
great
this part of
energy.
the day.
I was forced against my will.
You were not, just to be clear. You were not.
So what I was saying is, like, with this movie, it's like I think it's super gorgeous. I love the digital animation look of it, like that. The mix of 2D and 3D at times is really freaking cool. The castle itself is just Miyazaki at his prime of just like, let's make more things move. Do they need
Yeah.
to? No. Let's just do it though. Let's go fucking crazy. And it really adds a lot to the whole experience. The score is absolutely beautiful the entire way through.
Mhm.
And it's one of the movies where I've never seen this before, but I have heard that song. And it's just like, a score is good when you hear it outside of the movie,
Sure.
just like
Yeah.
randomly. And that you recognize it. So I was like, all that stuff's great. The aesthetic's all good. But I will say that this, more so than any of the other ones, when it comes to the characters, the writing,
Yeah.
just the plot in general, I was like, I'm out. I
What?
really did not
Dude.
have a good time with this movie.
Whoa.
Wait, Tim. What did you say about the visuals?
I like them.
Okay, like even the giant
Tim,
the
20-minute rant about how much he likes the visuals.
the moving castle, like, because I
Uh-huh.
thought that looked like they were like, hey, Metal Slug looks cool, let's get the like whatever they use for that and put that, because just the movement of the castle and like the
Well, yeah,
weird
it's-
layer.
It was all built in pieces and stuff. Yeah, very similar to like you were just mentioning, Kevin. It's very much built like an old school RPG boss that you fight, where this section. But the interesting thing about it was that all those layers were created and they were painted, where everything else is always just penned and inked. Anything
Yeah.
animated in the movie, but this was actually like probably like I don't know 40 different painted layers, all kind of animating individually. I thought it looked fucking awesome.
I thought it looked like you remember those old like books we had when we were kids that was like
Papa book.
No, not a pop-up book, but it's a decal book, I think, where it had those stickers that didn't like stick on, but they were somewhat transparent, and you could put like a car. It would be like a picture of a street, and you could put like like a little car down. No one.
No.
Oh, man,
All right,
sorry.
well, it just didn't
Are they
look
like not stickers, but they're like little like vinyl, like clear
vinyl
things?
Stuff. Yeah.
I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
and it's just one of those things where like it looks different than the layer behind it, where it's like the layer behind it just looks like a print, and this looks like it's got some shine to it. It just didn't seem like it fit, and I just didn't like that aesthetic.
I didn't notice
at
that.
all.
I think for me, the aesthetic of this movie, it was fine for me. Like I think it looks nice. It's I like his overall take. I just wish he'd focused. You can tell that he got really into the aesthetics, and the story sort of took a backseat. And that, like, when we get to a certain point in like the third act where everything starts climaxing, and you think, oh, okay, he's leaving the shop because he has to go take on Suleiman, and like her unbelievable, overwhelming forces, because clearly she's got her like the king wrapped around her finger. That's going to be a great scene. But then we just cut to him taking out a bomber, and I'm like, okay, what is the point of this? And then she saves him by going back in time, and I'm like, is this some sort of Back to the Future movie that we're watching right here? I don't understand. And then it just kind of wraps up. And I'm like, okay, I don't understand what Sophie's motivation was necessarily. I'm not quite sure if she had an arc at all. The movie's stunning. The castle's amazing. And I like what
there it is. Happy birthday.
It finally worked. Hey,
There it is. There it is. Nick, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I feel like you can make that case for so many different Miyazaki movies where,
but I think
where
that
things feel sort of nonsensical, and then the movie it kind of ends, and you're like, oh, okay, but you feel okay about it because it was such a fun, beautiful journey. I feel like that.
But I feel like
for a lot
characters that weren't really like. I didn't see a difference in their personalities, or I didn't see a difference in the characters from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, not a big difference at least.
Yeah.
And that's the same with me, right?
I think they're all similar. I think they all have sort of these. All the characters sort of are put in places that they don't really want to be. Calcifer is like, bro, I'm stuck here. Howl is like, dude, I'm hiding from war constantly. Sophie's in a curse. Like, I think they're all very similar at their core. I love this movie, dude. I absolutely adore this movie. Yeah.
For me, it stems from not liking Sophie. I feel like she's the least likable character we've had so far. And they just make her even less likable by just making her an old woman. And to me, it's not just that she's old that makes it not likable. It's the fact that she's old, and it feels like that never hinders her from doing anything except commenting on the fact that she's old. She's still moving, and like she's still doing a bunch of stuff, but it's like she might say like, oh, like this is hard for me because I'm old, but then she'll literally say those words. It's like I don't too on the nose.
I don't understand her inner need. And that to me is a big problem here, where I kind of I get what they were going for, but with what did we watch? Not Princess Mononoke. What did we watch last week? Spirited Away. The character, that whole movie is about her kind of accepting this big change and accepting these things that are scary. And when she gets them, we see her sort of stand up to them and progress. And then by the end of it, she's not scared anymore. And so for me, as just a dumbass audience member, I look at that and go, okay, well, this movie's about her accepting this change and growing up and becoming an adult with working these things. But with Sophie, I'm like, I don't know what we're supposed to glean from her learning from this, because all she does is capitulate over and over and over again, and then just accept this shitty circuit. Like if I woke up and I was like incredibly old, like 41, I would freak the fuck out. I would be like, oh my God, what happened to my face? What are all these lines on my eyes? But she just goes, I guess I'll just accept this. And then so at the beginning of that, and I think the mom has a great moment where she states the theme, and I can't remember exactly what she says. But she's like, someday you'll go out there and do something on your own too. You don't have to be stuck to this house anymore. But she doesn't do that. She just goes and finds another version of that prison, and then just goes and goes, I'm cool. I guess I'm cool here being this guy's literal prisoner, and I'm stuck in this body, and I don't ever really care about this. And then I don't love the message that by the end of it, the only thing that really breaks the spell is like the love of a man.
I do love her just making out with everything though. She's just like, you get a kiss, and you get a kiss, and you get. It's like, all right.
Yeah, I was sitting in my bed like, what about me? Me too.
Yeah, it's interesting that they chose to tell the perspective from her story for Howl, because I think Howl is the more compelling of the characters, because he is a character that, for whatever reason, I guess he got his heart broken, and so he decided to take it out of his body. We never saw who broke his heart, right? Unless it was the Witch of the Waste, but I don't think it was her.
I assumed it was the Witch of the Waste, because she does talk about how that, like, she likes doing that, right?
Right.
She likes getting the hearts of young men, and I know that, like, I thought that was more of a, like, her, that was not as much like her being literal as much as like there's some figurative stuff there.
This movie just further cemented that I love the idea that Miyazaki. Now, this is based on the book, right?
Yeah, it's based on a book. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, like, I still love the idea that Miyazaki has the power to sort of create these worlds with rules that don't always make sense, but they're still like, I would watch any any other stories they want to tell in the Spirited Away universe or the Mononoke universe or in this universe, like I'm totally cool with, because there's so many cool things to play around with. And I love the idea that this war is happening and they are calling upon witches and wizards. It's just cool as shit, man. I really dug this movie.
And I'm with you that there's a lot of cool stuff. Like what you just said about there's this war and witches and wizards are just part of this world and they understand that and they are being called to fight this war. All of that is super dope. But then we spend a lot of time with this witch and then she joins them. And it's like, wait, why did you do that? And we're just all okay with this. And it just makes Sophie's character to me like just kind of like the entire time, she just seems stupid. Like in the very first scene, or one of the first scenes, when she gets the curse put on her, the witch just comes in and is just throwing hella shade. And she's just kind of like, I'm going to need you to get out. And then the witch says some more mean shit. She's like, now I'm really going to need you to get out. And it's just like, everything that she does or says feels so not grounded in a reality. And I think that that's what I like about so many of these movies is the main character is usually kind of just like, these are the rules and I play by them and everything around them is kind of like weird and wacky. She to me is weirder than anything else because she just accepts the most bizarre things happen to her and just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I think she's just like a plain. She's just plain. She's just like, I'm just here, bro. I'm just here along for the ride, and hopefully, I fall in love with a super hot Falcon man.
Well, one of the questions that came up for us when we were watching it, me and Paula, we were like, is she even trying to get rid of her spell, or is she like when she leaves, is she just going to like be like, I guess I'm stuck as an old lady. I gotta go start a new life, because that's kind of what it seems like when she's just walking off into the distance with the Scarecrow coming up to her, you know?
Yeah, I don't disagree there, Kevin. That's a part that I did have to rewind and go, did I miss some motivation for why she's actually leaving the house? It seems like she's looking for a curse. She's going towards the world of the. She's leaving the safety of that area and saying, I'm going to go seek out. I'm going to go seek out the witches and the wizards, and it's dangerous. But I mean, hopefully they can break this curse.
I don't even think it's that. I don't feel like she's going to do that. I feel like she's just like, well, I can't stay here as an old lady. I can't talk to my family about it, so I guess I'll go and just start a new life.
When her mom straight played her out too.
Yeah, I was just fucked up, dude.
Damn, son.
That
what
was
the
fucked
fuck?
up.
Yeah, just let her. I hung her out to dry. But I don't know.
Let's get into the plot.
Wait, real quick. I just wanted to say also, my biggest issue, by the end of the movie, I enjoyed what was happening, but I think that at that point they had thrown so many things at us that it was like, all right, cool, Falcon Man is flying. But I just feel like my real problem is like literally the first half of this movie, the first hour is incredibly boring. Just so little happens, and I'm for the most part not interested at all. I was just kind of shocked at how slow it moved, and
you weren't stoked at the door. So like, it's also like cool Harry Potter.
No,
shit.
yeah,
I like the whole concept of the movie. I like all the concept of magic, everything about it.
I feel like the door was cool, but we saw it like 6 times, and it was like, oh, like once I figured out, like, oh, cool, it's opening in a different place. Then I was just like, oh, okay.
The little doofy boy with the beard is so cute.
Yeah, Aang.
He's wrong. Plot time.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of the cases that we're making for why this movie isn't as great can be made for a lot of the other Miyazaki movies, man.
I don't know. Nausicaa to me is like such a good character, and Sophie's like
it should be number 1.
Like
for sure, man. Nausicaa should be number 1.
Mononoke is really, really good. Should have been number 1. Great movie.
Should have been number 1 for sure.
Were you saying number 1 to every single movie?
Yeah.
You just hate Spirited Away.
Even RoboCop 1 and 2.
Damn, we'll get those on this list. All right, let's get this plot moving. With Howl
like the castle. Like
there it is.
Gotcha.
There it is. All right, you guys are dead inside. We start with a big old castle as it's walking through the land, and there's a little tiny shepherd tending to his flock down there. And apparently this shit happens all the time because the shepherd just looks at it and was like, hey, there's that castle again. Meanwhile, if I were in this and I saw that, I'd be like this.
God damn.
Oh, wow.
How did you bring this?
It's only been 3 days.
Throwing that back in.
Into this
Just throwing it back in just to keep you guys on your tippy toes. Keep you moving. We cut over to Sophie, who's making a hat, and her boss tells her that they're closing up shop so they can go look at the castle, but Sophie is really into this hat. One of the shop girls gleefully recants a rumor of how Howl, she was like, that's Howl's moving castle. I heard one time he tore someone's heart out. And I'm like, that's really scary. This land's already terrifying. Sophie finishes and leaves for the day as airships fly overhead, and we're getting a concept that there's an impending battle happening. There's always a war happening somewhere in a Miyazaki world. If there's one thing I know, it's we're going to have airships, we're going to have some level of magic, and we're gonna have
a lot of fun sidekicks.
A lot of heights. There's a lot of heights and sidekicks. And in this one, the sidekick is the Scarecrow. And I'll say, is he MVP? Originally, I thought yes, but then the dog got me. I was like, this dog's MVP.
Like the dog, as far as we know, is a snitch.
Does the dog have bird feet?
I don't know.
I think he did. I got that vibe.
The dog
had
bird.
little talons.
He definitely had a weird wig. He had a little blonde wig. He was trying to look like
wig?
Yeah, toupee.
Gettys.
Yeah, a little toupee.
He was a little bald. Okay. Don't let's not start making fun of people who wear toupees because Daddy might need one eventually.
Real quick, another why didn't they mention that the prince was missing? I feel like that would have been a nice little seed to plant. You know?
Sure would have been a huge motivation for the payoff at the end where he's like, I'm the prince that's been missing the entire time. You're like, what
and it's
prince?
Like, okay, I guess
that started this whole war. So he's basically Helena Troy. And you're like, okay, this should have been a huge factor in the plot, or at least a subplot somewhere along the line. You're absolutely right.
I will say, just for the sheer ridiculousness of it, like I loved the Scarecrow. I loved that he's just a fucking Scarecrow the entire time. Then at the end turns into the prince. I'm the prince. I'm in love with you, but you know what? I'm gonna leave. Here's my pogo stick, and he just bounces away. It's like
he just flies away.
Fucking Miyazaki, dude.
He's got magic, man.
I feel like that dude was fucking weird.
What a heartbreaker! This guy that helped her out the entire time, like literally moves the story forward multiple times, is just like. By the way, I love you.
He got cuts hard.
As Sophie makes her way through the town, we see it's bustling with a ton of soldiers marching their way through the main drag. 2 soldiers harass the shit out of her, but then Simon Belmont comes to her rescue.
And he really harassed the shit out of her. Like I got really scared at one point.
Yeah, I got creeped out. Yeah,
I was like, oh, it's not gonna end well.
He saves her and then grabs her and starts walking down the street with her and says, "Hey, don't act cool, but we're being followed." And when she looks back, we see goo monsters, some of these henchmen from the witch that we'll come to know are the Witch of the Wastes evildoers. So cornered, Howl flies them up into the air so they can take a walk like Jordan did all over the Utah Jazz in 98. Am I right, Andy?
Wow, you're damn right, baby. The last stand, dude.
Woo! Howl, there it is, Andy. Get it right. Howl drops her off onto the balcony of Letty's restaurant, and they commiserate.
Okay, that was dope as fuck, though, right? Oh, like this motherfucker Howl's just coming through, looking dope as hell in his sick ass cape, and I'm like, we're getting magicians here. We're getting another Batman voice actor. Is this some prestige shit going on? Christian
Howl's
Bale
hot,
just
guys.
like fucking. He is a pretty boy.
Howl's insanely hot. Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Ridiculously hot.
The fact that he just walks up to her and is like, "That's my girl," and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like I'm feeling stuff right now.
But when they just fucking walk on the air, I'm just like, "This is sick as hell. This movie's about to be awesome."
Yep.
And then
You're crazy, Tim. You're crazy, dude.
They made Howl he was never as cool as he was in this introduction.
So enticing. Yeah, I agree.
It was all downhill from there for him.
He just has a way of wearing those tight pants. That's all I'll say. He drops her off onto the balcony.
Just to be clear.
And they get it. And maybe and you're thinking maybe Howl got a bad rap. Maybe it's not so bad after all. When she leaves, of course, Letty asks her if she wants to spend the rest of her life at her father's hat shop.
And she's like, "Damn."
She's like, "Damn." Yes. Come find me, I died, Dom.
Oh my God.
Do something for yourself just once in your life. To which Sophie replies, oh, I'm sorry. Do you own this restaurant you're working in? Because it seems like you're just fucking waiting tables here. Okay, let's not throw stones at glass houses here, Letty. Go race your car.
Go race your fucking car.
Later that night, the Witch of the Waste comes in and calls Sophie tacky. Then she and her goo monsters attack Sophie and bounce. You know what I mean? When Sophie comes to, she is old as shit. The next morning, Sophie's mom comes in with a really big hat and pounds on the door to her room. Sophie says she's sick as hell, and her mom is more than happy to just leave her to what I would assume, if I were a parent, was my child's imminent death. Sophie hypes herself up. Being old ain't so bad, she says, and just immediately accepts it. She says, your clothes finally suit you, and now you can fart in public and nobody can say a fucking thing.
You'll get there.
She makes her way out of town and heads up to the Waste, a place filled with witches and wizards high up in the mountains. Taking a quick snack break for some bread and cheese, she spots a tree branch which she thinks would work nicely as a cane. But when she frees it, of course, from the bushes, she discovers it's not a cane at all. It's a scarecrow. It has the head of a turnip, so she calls him Turnip Man, but I'm going to call him Scarecrow from now on because that's just kind of awesome.
So I had a moment here where I was just like, is this at all related to Wizard of Oz? Because we had the Witch of the Waste, which sounds like Witch of the West.
Yeah.
And then the first friend you meet's the Scarecrow, and I was like, okay, I kind of see where they're going. It's not, obviously they throw it all away, but it did get me thinking about something. I want to express this here on this show. Did you guys all see Return to Oz?
No.
I saw it a long time ago.
Fantastic movie, super great. One of the key things that I remember from it is I loved Wizard of Oz growing up. Scarecrow, always my favorite character. In Return of Oz, Scarecrow's the fucking king. Like, they just made him the king, and he's the coolest motherfucker to ever exist, and it's super rad. And that made me realize that somehow Wizard of Oz did to Scarecrow what I wanted Star Wars to do for Luke Skywalker. And I'm just like, thank you, Return to Oz. Thank you. We can
Interesting. Wow. I'm glad you let it out here, Tim.
Got to get that there. All the hot takes today. She discovers that it's a Scarecrow, and then he's like, hey, and she hates turnips, so he bounces. The Scarecrow hops after her, but she's not having it. She drops her a cane, which is nice. So she goes, hey, I'm going to repay you for your kindness by asking you to go find me a nice place to stay back in town and get the fuck off my trail. And he's like, okay, and he bounces, and she's like, ha, I outsmarted him. There it is. And then she smells the fire from a nearby cabin, and it's very cold. So she goes, I'm going to head toward this. But of course, when she does, Tim, what does she run smack dab into?
Giant thing from Metal Slug. Kevin was right.
Moving castle. And man, this thing looks like a giant turkey. It's just it's like a Metal Gear Slug turkey. And it's got all sorts of gobbles and stuff hanging off.
Hold on. So you jumped to turkey. What do you guys jump to?
It reminded me of the monster from Mononoke with all the boar monster in the beginning with all his little arms.
Because I was getting fish vibes. Or sorry, frog vibes.
Oh, I got anglerfish vibes, but with like bird legs.
Yeah, I got like a bird. Yeah, bird, because the mouth kind of birdish as well. Yeah,
I think it's cool because like
frog.
I kept looking at the design throughout the movie, like different angles we can see, and like there definitely was bits and pieces from all the different animals we just said. And I think it's cool that we all took something different from it as a whole.
The Scarecrow comes hopping over.
Fucking scary.
The Scarecrow comes hopping over to show her the entrance, which is near the turkey's dingleberry, and then she thanks the Scarecrow and heads in, warming herself by the fire and the hearth. She looks around and takes in the shabby nature of the castle and was like, man, this place really needs to be cleaned. And then Calcifer, the fire demon, played by
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. Mike Wazowski.
There's a really good comment in chat by CD Rod. He says, the first thing that Howl says to Sophie is, I've been looking for you. Is that in response to Sophie telling young Howl to wait for her and find her? Or am I reading into it?
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's
because
cool
at the end
shit.
she goes, I'm so sorry it took me so long to get back to you. I understand now. And so it's time is a loop. Time is a loop.
That's cool, man. Yeah, this movie is way cooler.
It's something, man. It is something. Calcifer, the fire demon, pops out of the fire. If Sophie, and they make a deal, if Sophie can get Howl to break his spell that keeps him in the castle, he'll return the favor and lift her curse. And she's like, why don't you just lift my curse now, bro? And he's like, I'm Billy Crystal. We're going to do City Slickers 1, and then we're going to do City Slickers 2. And you know what? Not that bad, City Slickers 2. Down in heaven.
I didn't love the not being able to speak your curse thing, because it's like it felt a little inconsistent because they kept flirting with it so much that's like, well, you pretty much said everything you need to say in a different way. And there's like, then there was the one scene where she like couldn't really talk, and it was like, this is creepy as fuck.
It's weird.
But also, he figured out it was a curse, and he could have told Birdman over there that it was a curse. But then also Birdman sees her as a girl later and knows. Yeah. It's just interesting stuff. I do want to add one more thing. I feel like I didn't love Billy Crystal for the voice, and I hated the animation style. The like weird.
I could not disagree with you more.
I love Calcifer,
and I fucking loved Billy Calcifer MVP.
But by the end,
I agree.
By the end, I loved the character. I just could not stop imagining Harry from Sally Met Harry, because it's like that's the same.
Yes, when Sally Met Harry.
You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm actually with Kevin. I'm actually with Kevin on this one because Billy Crystal adds an air of comedic value to this that I don't think the rest of the cast came up to.
Yeah,
and so they bring him in as comic relief. but I think sometimes a lot of his energy feels a little out of place. And this is no disrespect to Billy Crystal. I think I mean, if it was just a movie about this fireplace, I'd be like, he's knocking it out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
But the actress that played Sophie, young and old, is so subdued the entire time that it's almost like it just kind of feels a little tonally out of place.
It was
from Sally with Love. That's all I can think
was
of.
old Sophie like from anything
Sally.
that we've known? Because I looked up the actor Gene Simmons. Well,
Gene Simmons.
that's
No,
her
I think
name.
I think her name actually is Gene Simmons.
That's her
It's
name.
not. It's spelled Jeans.
Yeah. That's her name. It's
G-E-N-E.
I couldn't I was looking through her IMDb and she wasn't in anything else or that I recognized.
She's
her.
an older actress.
Yeah.
I think she was in a bunch of stuff back in like the 60s and 70s. It's funny because I thought I had the same reaction where I was like, I must have typed this in wrong.
What a rock and roll all night.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got the big tongue. Yeah,
that'd be amazing if it was the Gene Simmons from Kiss. And you're like, oh, okay. But no, and the
young Sophie.
The younger one is an actress that I know from other stuff too. But I just feel like her
she was
direction
in
was
Shutter Island.
Oh, good
The
pull,
young
Andy.
Sophie. She's the one that
I never watched it.
She goes like absolutely crazy on Shutter Island's cool. Y'all should watch it.
Wait, but I thought you didn't like scary movies.
Shutter Island's not
More
really
of a
scary.
thriller.
It's a thriller.
It's
an emotional roller coaster.
thriller.
I don't know.
It's
I've only
still
seen the trailer
spooky.
and they set it up like a scary movie. So
Nah, it fucks with you.
Sally in Seattle. Down in town, massive battleships float by in the harbor as the mayor knocks on the door of the great wizard Jenkins to summon him on the king's behest to the war effort. Magically, the door opens and leads to the chamber in which Sophie is currently sleeping. I love this part. This was the part where I was like, I don't know about this movie. And this part forward, I was like, all right, I'm interested. The concept that you can change a little knob and the door goes to different places is really cool. I love it. It's used wonderfully here. The kid, let's not question why this kid's here or what his relationship is to Howl. We'll just move forward.
Don't do this, Nick.
But I
Don't
love that he
make this
puts the
your
beard on. I
sick
don't know why the kid
perversion
is
thing.
small child labor
Stop.
slave in this weird thing. Maybe he's Howl. I like to think of him as Howl's little brother. We'll just go with that. And their parents died.
Somehow makes it worse, Nick.
And Howl's just taking care of the kid, but the fire has to babysit him most of the time. And now Sophie is their prisoner. Markle throws on the old Gandalf costume, and I like how he does it with magic and puts it on and off with magic. I thought that's a cool effect. And opens the door to receive the mayor while Sophie watches in amazement. Another bell signals a customer at the Port Haven door, and a young girl enters to buy a spell. And Sophie's like, this door is cool as shit. She watches as Markle turns in and out of costume to practice his magic. Another bell rings finally, and this time it's the Kingsbury door. An emissary of that king asks for the great wizard Pendragon to report to the palace for duty. This is one thing that I would have liked to have seen more. I'm a little confused as to which town is which, and I think that he's on both kings' sides, but I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
I think he is too.
He's created aliases. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's got a wizard. Basically, he's a notable wizard in both of the towns that are now going to war over the loss of their prince, who has been turned into a scarecrow by who I don't know. I don't know who but that probably would have been a huge plot point if I were writing this. Also, if I were writing this, a lot more Bill and Ted's Face the Music references in it, a ton of them, which you guys can watch tomorrow. We're going to review that on Screencast, right, Kev? High five.
Wait, we're reviewing it Thursday, right?
That's what I meant.
Because I need to watch it. So.
You gotta watch it today. Tim and Andy, I need you to watch all three Bill and Ted's movies as well, and just pop in for the review.
Not a chance. Yeah, not a chance.
I'm gonna just turn this back on for a minute. There you go.
You want to see a ton of views on a video? Tim, strap in. Just gird your loins, buddy. Take those MeUndies, just pop them up to your nipples, because this
we're
one's
gonna be rich.
We're gonna be rolling in 20-cent videos. Let's see, Sophie.
Wait, also one last thing, just shout out for the little brother. Let's call him. The voice is Aang from Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, he's
really
great,
cool.
man.
That's cool.
He's super charming. I love his whole practicing being old, and it's just really cute. Every time he did it, I loved it.
And, Nick, what did you want me to do with the MeUndies?
I want you to take those MeUndies, Tim, and hike them up as far as you can, because that's comfort and that's fabric.
Yeah.
And that is fabric that you two can have around your loins, ladies and
Nailed
gentlemen.
it.
Because this episode is brought to you by, I got distracted for just too long to have a perfect segue. But
My bad.
MeUndies wants to talk about your underwear. Seriously, they have a lot of feelings about it and want to chat with anyone who's willing to listen. And hopefully all of you are. Right now, I'm wearing many MeUndies pieces of articles of clothing. I got my socks, got my lounge pants, and I got the shirt. And of course, I got those undies. I got those sweet, sweet undies. Today, rocking some pizza. It's pizza on some neon blue. Big fan of that color combination. And if you are or not, there's a ton of different options for you. You just got to go to MeUndies.com and check them out there. MeUndies is serious about softness. They're so serious, they scoured the world for the softest fabric known to man. It all starts with sustainably sourced beechwood trees that magically turn from pulp to yarn to undies. Undies that kind of feel like heaven on your skin. Kevin, how much heaven are you feeling right now?
Oh man, all the way to the top. You know what I mean? I got them
All
on.
the
I got
way
my
to the top.
socks. I'm so comfy. I gotta go find my robe. It's somewhere in storage still, and I miss
good.
it every day.
That's good. You can get 15% off your first order, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee by going to MeUndies.com/morning. That's MeUndies.com/morning. Also, shout out to Honey. We all shop online, and we all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. Every time I'm trying to buy something, and I'm there looking at it, and I'm just like, there has to be a better way. There is a better way, and it's Honey, baby. You install it once in your browser. Next thing you know, boom, you're good. You're just saving money all the time. It does it automatically for you. Honey supports over 30,000 stores online. Anything you're trying to get, really, from sites like Best Buy all the way to smaller things like Etsy, you're saving money. You're not even doing anything. Imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you check out, the Honey button drops down, little Honey guy just starts doing a little dance, and it says, this is how much money you're saving. You hit apply, then you save the money. It's really that simple. And installing it takes a couple clicks, then you never need to think about it again. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. It's literally free, installs in a few seconds, and by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this show. You can get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/morning. That's joinhoney.com/morning.
Now back to the plot. Let's keep this moving along.
Moving.
It's not like it wasn't very funny the first time.
Yeah.
I got a grown edible Linda. That's all that matters. Life is complete. Sophie turns the knob and pops out into the waste. With another turn, she pops out in Port Haven when she asks about the section of the door that's demarcated in black. Markle tells her that only Howl knows where that goes. We don't go there. Markle wants some breakfast, but Calcifer won't let Sophie do it. So she gets stern and then blackmails him, and then he relents. Howl returns and is amazed that Sophie got Calcifer to do anything. Turns out Calcifer is just kind of making these rules up as we go. He's like, I can't do anything without Howl's. And then Sophie's like, do it. And he's like, you know what? Bacon does sound good. She tells Calcifer.
And how good does that bacon look? You know what I mean, guys?
Big old thing with
That's what I'm
dents.
talking about.
Man, let me tell you, I haven't had a
old
good
dense
breakfast
piece.
in months. Sophie tells Howl that Calcifer hired her to clean because the shit is getting nasty in here, and they all sit down to eat breakfast. Howl asks Sophie what she has hidden in her pocket. She discovers a red note that once touched produces a scorch mark that reads, "You who swallowed a falling star. Oh, heartless man, your heart shall soon belong to me." And then love, Witch of the Waste. P.S. Like, hit me up, give me a call. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I'm free on Saturday. What are you doing on Saturday? You want to hang out? Are you busy? Saturday?
Yeah, I got some stuff going on.
All right, that's cool. Hal wipes the mark off the table, but the smell remains. He orders that Calcifer move the castle 60 miles to the west, just in case, because the Witch of the Waste is a-coming. Markle asks her if she's working for the Witch of the Waste, and then Sophie gets pissed, but she can't say exactly why she hates the witch, because part of the spell is precludes her from saying who gave it to her. Sophie channels her anger into rage cleaning. And I got to be honest with you guys, I respect it.
We've seen you do it many times.
There's nothing better.
That is Nick's specialty.
In Footloose, he had to punch dance out his rage. My version of that, because I don't want to move that fast and sweat that much, although I end up sweating a lot, is rage cleaning. I get out there, man. I like to rage organize, rage 1-800 junk removal.
There's always collateral. Like we're
me
all
and
doing
Cool
more
Greg.
stuff.
Yep. Me and Cool Greg hit each other up. We just look at each other, lock eyes, and it's just like, we're doing this today.
Cool Greg is never on that boat.
Cool Greg whisper. True story. There have been multiple times when I've started cleaning shit that Cool Greg leaned over and he whispers to me, "Thank you for this."
That is not true. That is a not true story.
I remember that story going a little differently, where he doesn't whisper. He just looks at you and goes, "Hey, bruh, do I do your job?
No, that was when I tried to do the dishes one time. I was just like, I'm just gonna hang out and pour some more. I was just gonna do the dishes and like help him out. And he was like, "Hey, bro, do I do your job?" And I was like, "No, you do not."
No, sir.
I'm like, "You are right, sir. My bad. My apologies." So we get a cute scene where Calcifer goes out. Well, Sophie cleans the ashes out of the fireplace, but Howl brings him back. We see then when he goes out that he's this little blue beating glob of something. And then Hal brings him back to life. Hal asks her to be nicer to her friend and bounces into the black door. Calcifer tells her that if he dies, Howl dies too. And she's like, "That's weird. I should probably ask more questions about that." Nope, I'm gonna go clean the bathroom. As he goes upstairs, Markle pulls a perfect kid moment where he's like, "Wait, you're cleaning upstairs? Save my room for last." And then he runs up there to hide all the porn. Which, come on, guys, we've all been.
I mean, that's 100% what that was, right?
Nah, that was my read on it, but I'm not a doctor.
Like 100%.
It was. I just loved his animations throughout all that. It was super cute.
No, yeah, it was super cute.
Oh, just give it 10 minutes. It's
so
so
that I
funny.
can hide all my smut. I feel like that makes it a little less cute there at the end.
Yeah, I got all my cum socks on my
God
bed.
damn.
Oh
Andy,
man, come on, Andy.
How'd that feel?
Happy birthday, Belinda! Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, congratulations. It's been, what, 7 weeks? And Nick has said everything Nick has said and made the sounds that Nick has made. And you were the first one to get a "come on" out of it.
Yeah. Challenge
We
accepted.
were on the
Andy.
line and you just jumped off of it.
Yeah.
Nick, that's not a challenge, Nick.
Challenge
That's not
accepted.
That's not a challenge.
Andy, challenge accepted.
But like, can you beat it?
You were so
You know?
Michael Scott. I swear to God.
Sophie goes upstairs and finds a nasty bathroom. She pops her head out the window and we sees the castle is moving. Realizing Calcifer is responsible for the castle, she tells him she likes his spark. She's like, "You got a great spark, kid." And he's like, "You know what, Sophie, you're starting to grow on me." Sophie and Markle pop out to the balcony and spot the Scarecrow stuck upside down. She's like, "God, this thing just gets stuck everywhere." The castle takes a break at the floor of Star Lake, and Sophie and Markle pop out to hang the laundry to make it dry and have a spot of lunch while they take in the scenery. And this is just another one of those beautiful moments where we get treated to some awesome Miyazaki scenery.
Yeah, definitely. Was this the cleaning scene where she like almost kills Calcifer?
Yeah.
Yeah, earlier.
Yeah.
That was horrifying. Like this poor thing is just like, "Please don't kill me. I'm disappearing. I am dying." And she doesn't
I'm
give
gonna
a
fall
fuck.
into this. Yeah.
It was just like I didn't understand the point of that whole thing. Like, why was she so?
Well,
I think she was
don't
just
know.
thinking he was being a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also fucking with him so she knows who's
I think
boss,
she
you know
feels
what I mean?
like that about a lot of this. I think she feels like a lot of these people aren't they're super overreactionary, they're super emotional. She looks at Hal, she's like, quit fucking crying all the time. Like, the time where Hal where Hal exclaims like, last time he did this, a girl broke his heart, and he's like all looking sad, he turned all slant. I think all this is just supposed to make her look like the only one that has dealt with any real sort of adversity, where everybody else is just sort of like, "Oh, this thing sucks and you're gonna kill me." She's like, "Oh, shut up, Calcifer. You're Billy Crystal, dude."
What
It's just weird because like she wouldn't know that it wouldn't kill him.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
she's pretty lucky there that she didn't fucking end this thing's life.
She's
I
so
don't know.
reckless.
He
and
ended up getting through it.
I also think, like, what adversity did she go through? Like, she was the less prettier of the two sisters?
I mean, I can't imagine what that's like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You're the ugly one.
Anyway, they surmise that this.
How did
They
you make your
surmise-
wink somehow worse? Stop adding the tongue, please.
I put a little Irish on it, a little English on it. You know what I mean? They surmise that the Scarecrow is probably some sort of demon and he's been cursed himself. And then they take in the wonderful sights of the lake and the mountain range, and it's very peaceful. Cut to the opposite of that, where Howl flies through hell in the form of a crow with a man's head, and he sees the havoc that the impending war is causing on the front lines. And then he gets chased away by more crows. Back at the castle, he takes a load off and transforms back into Howl. Calcifer warns him if he keeps flying around like that, he won't be able to turn back into a human. Howl's own kind, he says, attacked him, as with the rest of the crows were. Some freaking hack wizards who turned themselves into monsters per the king's orders, and they probably won't be able to come back from that. Howl pulls the curtain aside and sees Sophie in her younger form. And you have to wonder, does he always see her in her younger form, or is it just when she sleeps? The next morning, Sophie and Markle...
when she sleeps. It seems like when she's not thinking about how like ugly she is. Which I never thought she was that ugly, you know what I mean?
I don't
So
understand.
sad.
Yeah.
It's not until she cuts her hair, gets silver hair. When she like cuts her hair short, I was like, all right, like quarantine's, doing stuff,
He's like, yeah, okay.
What was
You know
that?
what? Well,
Andy,
we'll
what'd you just say?
we'll come back to that at the end of this. We'll dig in further on that.
Shouldn't we be talking
on the next
about
review.
ants at some point?
I don't have any ant references in this.
That
But
shows a lot of growth.
Calcifer is something I could have burned ants in, though.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I'm
Andy,
sad
not
that I
a
didn't
good
think
look
about that.
for you to be saying that. You know what I mean?
I think Andy likes the attention because, as they say, there's no such thing as bad news, and Andy being delivered as Satan is apparently a good thing. The next morning, Sophie and Markle pop out.
The quote was, "There's no such thing as bad news."
And Andy being delivered
I
as
get where you
Satan
were going
is what
with
he said
it,
after
but-
that.
Isn't
Also,
that the old
happy
saying?
birthday! Yay!
There's no
Happy
such
birthday. When Harry met Potter.
Somebody made that.
Harry's got mail. The next morning,
Y'all knew what
Sophie
movie
and
I was
Markle-
talking about.
When Sally met Harry is the best thing Kevin's ever said.
What is it called?
When Harry met
When
Sally.
Harry met Sally.
Okay, so I just flipped it. All right, I see. My
Yeah.
brain does that sometimes. No big deal.
When Sally Met Harry is going to be the 2021 reboot.
Yeah.
The next morning, Sophie and Markle pop out of the Port Haven and head over to the morning market. Some of the villagers watch as a badly damaged warship gets tugged back into port. Sophie spots one of the witch's henchmen before anyone can notice her or him. The sky opens and bombs hit the harbor. An airship showers the town in propaganda pamphlets. The war has hit them. So when Sophie and Markle get home, Howl freaks. Sophie's cleaning ruined his potions and turned his hair red, and then a moment later turns it black. And this is my question to you guys. I'll open this up to the group. Is Howl sexier, blonde, or with black hair?
Blonde.
Black.
Easily blonde, man.
I mean, I like the red.
Wow.
Can't. I like them both.
It's funny. I'm
Belinda,
having
you're the
this-
deciding vote. Black or blonde?
I would
just throwing out
sort
red?
of yeah,
Well, red's
throwing out
not
red.
an option. Red's not an option.
All right.
Because I would compare it to Gerard Way in My Chemical Romance, where whether it's
Right.
blonde hair, silver hair, red hair, like he's always looking good.
Dude, this is hilarious. Like, I'm having the same conversation at home. Paula's gonna get her hair dyed soon, and I'm trying to get her to go black. She wants
Somehow
to
I
go
think
blonde.
that conversation is not this cordial. Let's see.
What does that mean? What the hell are you trying to say about me and my wife,
Just
huh?
you badgering your wife to get her to go red again.
No, I didn't even say red as an option. Although it
Wait,
looks
what
great
option
on
do you
her.
want her to have? Blonde?
No, black. I think
Black.
black would look cool.
Oh,
Why
black.
don't you listen? We're all right here. Can you just listen a tiny bit?
It's hard to hear over my own talking. The next morning, let's see. So his hair is now turned black. Howl is beside himself with grief. He's so distraught by being ugly, he summons the dark spirits to destroy the castle. Sophie fires back. You
love
got it
that.
bad. I've never been beautiful, she says. To which everyone around her is like, I don't know that. I don't know that you're ugly. We can't really
Yeah,
tell.
it's like when Rachel Lee Cook did the glasses. She puts her hair down, takes the glasses off. It's like, oh,
And
she's
she's all
hot.
that.
It's like she was always pretty. Come on, guys.
Yeah,
But I
mean,
just love how I love that like the last time he summoned the dark spirits was when a girl broke his heart. Like he's
mhm.
just so
He's emo
overdramatic,
as fuck.
dude.
Yeah,
yeah,
he's super
I love
emo.
it.
Love it.
I love it.
Let's see. So she runs out into the rain and cries. The Scarecrow hops out with an umbrella. Markle runs out to fetch Sophie. Howls. She's like, he's in a bad way. He's melting into green goo. But she goes, it's just a tantrum. Then they drag him up to the bath, and Markle cleans him up. Howl wakes up and tells Sophie he's a coward. The witches of the Waste is trying to get into this castle. She was once beautiful, so he pursued her. But when she realized when he realized she wasn't beautiful, he ran. He always runs from his problems. Now he has to go to the king, but he doesn't want to go. Sophie wants him to go to the king and give him a peace of mind about this war. But Hal's like, I got a great idea. You'll go as my mother. You'll go in my stead and tell the king off, and tell her that way I won't have to deal with it. And then maybe Madame Suleiman will give up on Howl. Howl gives her a charm to guarantee her
Quick
safety.
question here.
Tim
Mhm.
Gettys.
This is just the worst plan of all time, right?
Yeah, it's a terrible plan.
It's a bad plan.
It's just
think
the fucking most bizarre choice
But
I think anybody could have ever made.
The plan was he was gonna follow and confront at a moment of his choosing. I think the idea was to try to get like one step ahead of Solomon, which is the wizard from Lord of the Rings, right?
Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
What was her name?
Suleiman.
Okay, well, fuck you, all right? You know what I mean? Like, you can't just change
just-
one vowel and be like,
It's not that, Kev. It's the fact that when you said to confront Solomon. It's like you thought about it. We heard you think about it, and then you said the wrong one.
Tim, I went to grasp, and that's what my hand grabbed, all right? I put my hand into Greg's black void, grabbed anything I could, and that's what I came out with. You know what I mean?
Just like the much heralded movie City Sliders, starring Bill Crystal and Danielle Stern. And there we are, ladies and gentlemen. How
she's gone.
Belinda's gone. Hal gives her a charm to guarantee her a safe return and goes off. And off she goes. Hal disguises himself and follows her, but we're not quite sure what. And Sophie's like, maybe he's this, maybe he's that. And then I don't know. Then we see a funny little dog with blonde hair on her 6, and she goes, oh, that must be Hal. And I think we all were like, oh, that's got to be Hal too, right? Like I think every one of us thought that because she looks exactly like Hal did with in dog form with blonde hair.
Yeah, it was a weird thing.
Yeah, it's kind of strange.
What a dumb little wig it was wearing.
It's cute though.
It was
I want
so
one of you
cute.
guys to put a wig on your dogs for Christ's
Should
sake.
we be concerned that Belinda?
She said internet died for a sec, coming back.
Great. I was just moving on the plan B.
That's
there.
unfortunate because I tweeted at her just letting her know like to come back whenever she could.
So, okay, I'm back. Can you
Nick,
hear
I
me?
bought a wig for Moose, and
back.
it doesn't fit him.
Give me a second.
Make it fit.
Sorry.
I need to figure that out.
As she approaches the castle, the witch of the waste pulls up next to her and just starts immediately talking shit. She's like, "Oh, you're walking on foot? That's dumb." And then, of course, the witch is responding to her royal invitation and seems pretty excited about this. Sophie asks her to break the spell, but sadly, she's like, "That ain't my area of expertise. I just put spells on people. I can't break them." And Sophie's like, "That's a little, it's a little disrespectful.
That kind of sucks.
You know what I mean?
Not
Like
cool.
you can't don't break shit you can't fix." And the witch is like, "Well, I don't care." Then the witch's henchmen cross the palace threshold and dissolve, forcing the witch to go the rest of the way on foot. And this starts just an odd scene for me, where the witch can't make it up the stairs, and Sophie can't quite make it up the stairs. And at first I thought, oh, they're going to race up the stairs, and it's going to be hilarious. But no, Sophie makes it up there and then starts cheering her on. She's like, come on, get your old ass up these stairs. And the witch is like,
I thought she was going to be talking shit to her the whole time.
yeah.
This
Because
whole
that
scene
would
made
make
me
sense.
Made me so uncomfortable. So
It
wildly
looks
uncomfortable.
she
Like,
looks
oh,
so
man.
gross.
I
And
have
then
gone
Sophie
up
gets
so many stairs, and just like I know what they're going through. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's why you're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of memories.
Kevin knows sweat like no other man. The witch, of course, was banished by Suleiman, 50 years. I keep writing Sullivan here, and it's tripping me the fuck out. 50 years ago, so she's not letting a set of stairs or mild heart attack stop her from visiting the castle.
Whoa, Belinda's internet's freaking out. And it
Oh,
looks crazy.
shit.
She looks like she's
breakdancing.
glitching.
Mm-hmm.
She's a robot.
Yeah,
oh my
she's
god.
Like, you look like you're vibrating there.
This is insane. Oh my god.
I'm very uncomfortable.
Well, while she figures that out, Sophie reaches the top of the stairs and asks one of the little king's little men, who all look alike, to help the witch. But he goes, "It's strictly forbidden." And she's like, "Well, then what the fuck do you do here?
Yeah.
Can we ask this question? You got 50 guards down there. None of them want to help this old lady up the stairs. The king is a piece of shit. I'll just say that right now.
Well,
He's a piece of shit.
I think that this was Solomon's move to weaken someone.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, at least the witch. They enter the throne room and are announced. Waste Witch takes a much-needed rest while Hal takes off to poop on the carpet. And then Sophie is escorted upstairs. Meanwhile, someone turns the lights up real bright, and the witch of the waste is has her shadow burn right out of her. Sophie is brought before Madame Solomon. Turns out the dog isn't Hal after all. It's him, her lapdog. And I'm like, that is a strange,
weird,
useless, weird twist here. I didn't
I
understand why they needed to do that.
I loved it. I just loved that she was walking the whole time with this thing talking to him, being like, "All right, Hal, whenever you're ready." The fact that it was this stupid fucking dog the whole time.
It didn't seem like it could translate that information to Silly Man over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, she must have magic where she can just read the dog's mind and then figure out when it needs to poop.
But it wasn't like she was like, "Oh, so you thought this dog was Howl, so Howl must be like maybe he's not your son."
I think it's all that was the weird part to me too, because I was like, she knows that Hal's coming at some point. He has to. It's his royal oath. If he doesn't do that, apparently bad shit happens to him. So she's just kind of playing Sophie the entire time. But in another weird sort of, you never can trust the bad guys in a Miyazaki movie because you don't know if they're actually like their intentions are actually good or not. And at the end of this, I'm like, I don't know. I think she's still bad. I think she still wants to kill Howl, but I'm not sure if I don't know where we net out. Yeah,
by the end, it's one of those things where we're like, was she into Howl and this was just like foreplay for her?
I don't know. I think everyone's into Howl a little bit.
I mean, I
especially-
get it, 100%. Remember when he's not wearing, where he's just wearing the towel, and it's
Man,
like,
he's just wearing towel,
there's a little
tight
butt
pants.
crack sticking out
He
there.
does- Andy, he does the thing that just got me in Interview with a Vampire, where they wear the tight pants, but the big flowy blouse like shirts.
Yeah, hot
And it's like-
vampires. Yeah.
And these
For
guys
sure.
just know, man. They just know how
Yeah.
to be slick.
That's-
You know there's a really like just
Belinda,
tight
we're
body
having some
underneath. You know?
problems with your
Yeah,
phone.
Belinda's looking freaky again.
And you
It's
haven't
magic.
talked much,
Oh,
but it's not coming in great.
Belinda, you should right click on the bottom right, or I think you have a Mac, right? You should just like end Discord and then come back instead of just disconnecting.
Restart that bad boy for us.
Yeah.
Oh, while she does that, I will continue Howl's.
BRB.
Howl, she says, was Suleiman's last, most talented apprentice until one day he got his heart broken, and now all he does is use his magic for selfish reasons, which is going to be his demise. If he stays on this road, he'll turn out like the Witch of the West, the Witch of the Waste, whom Suleiman just propelled to her rightful age, which apparently is roughly the same age as Dirt. She is old as shit now and a little batty. Suleiman wants Howl to report to her so she can help him rid him of his demon, which of course is his fear and his avarice. But Sophie knows it's a trap. Star Wars,
1979.
And when in fact she just wants to get there to pretty much destroy Howl. Howl would never be so heartless. He can fix his problems with his demon on his own. And as she speaks, she turns back into Sophie for a second, and then Suleiman's like, "Oh, I know why he's keeping you around, because you're his weakness. He loves you. You love him. Everyone loves each other." And she's like, "I'm gonna use Sophie against you in a heartbeat," and she kind of alludes to that, and then never does. The king rolls in and tells everyone, "Hey, everyone, guess what? I was wrong about magic. We're not using magic anymore. I tell everyone to go home. We're going to use good old-fashioned war tactics to beat our enemies." And Suleiman's like, yeah, I believe that shit. Then another king comes in. And he's loopy as fuck. He's like, "Hey, you know what I just found out? You can blow shit up. All right, let's go." And then they all look
That
at
was
it.
the real king, right?
Yeah, that was the real king. He's fucked up. He's like some bratty, shitty king.
Now, we don't know if he's the king that's missing a prince or the other king that was being attacked.
Correct.
Okay.
All we know for sure is he's very excited to shop for like exotic cars on eBay. He doesn't give a fuck about anything else.
Am I fixed now? Is
Yeah.
it better?
You're much better.
Yeah.
Cool.
But I like the
it
other
turned-
way too, though. So if you want to
Yeah.
go back, I'm fine.
Feel
with it.
free to
You
go
want to
back.
just
It
slowly
was
breakdance the
exciting.
entire time? That's really cool looking.
Was I making weird noises too?
No, you weren't
it was
making
more just
noises.
you just kind of look like this.
Well, no, when you talk, it was coming in all.
You were in between frames.
robotic.
Like the frames kept on going backwards and forwards, and it looked like you were, in horror, when like everybody nowadays is like, we need to make this thing scary, this figure in the dark scary in this movie or game, make it twitch and do weird shit. Like that's what you were doing. It was very scary.
It was terrifying.
You made me very uncomfortable.
Oh fuck! It's happening again.
Oh no, it's happening again.
Well, let's move on. But Belinda will figure that out. But let's move on with the plot. Howl, of course, turns out was the first king. He kept his oath. He reported when summoned, and now they're going to bounce. But Suleiman's like, not so fast. She transports them into the magical sky, and the Witch of the Waste holds on for dear life. Trippy electric koosh balls form a ring all around them, and then turn Howl back into his crow form. Sophie snaps him out of it, and together they burst out of the palace atrium and onto the king's airship. Hind comes along for the ride because guess what, man? Turns out Suleiman sucks, and he's just like, "I'm gonna go with you guys." And they're like, "But you're a little spy," and he's like, "But I'm cute with my stupid wig." And they're like, "Fuck, touche."
got me.
So they let him stay with them.
There it
He's
is.
Howl makes them invisible to distract the king's guards approaching
tight
on their
move.
six. They part, but not before Howl thanks Sophie for giving him the courage to stand before Suleiman. Suleiman finds the hat that Sophie left behind and decides to track down her mother to use against her. Meanwhile, troops knock on the door of the wizard's house only to find abandoned buildings when they burst their way through, which I think is another cool effect. So
Cool,
Harry
yeah.
Potter, where you break down the door, you think it's going to go one way, and it just goes like the first one goes like this burned out building it doesn't even have a roof, and everyone's like, "Damn it!"
So cool.
Tripping out. Sophie spots her town on the way to the castle, which has now woken up and is walking to meet them. Sophie lands right in its mouth and crashes into the living room. The Witch of the Waste saves Hin, and now they're best friends, turns out. Sophie and Markle hug, and now they're best friends. And Tim, we're all best friends.
We're all
Later
best
that
friends
night,
here, man.
Howl sneaks in, still in crow form, bleeding like a sieve. He's partially invisible. Sophie wakes and is younger again. She finds a feather in one of the footsteps, but when she picks it up, it disappears. Lighting a candle, she heads up to Howl's room to check on him and discovers a cave of toys, and it's creepy as shit.
Yeah, no. not
Sophie
good.
she finds Howl, but he's gone full Batman. And she just wants to help break a spell, but he's like, "I'm Batman." She's like, "All right, I see that you're in a thing." He's like, "I'm Batman." She's like, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna just fucking walk out of here
And
backward
guys,
and keep
this,
eye
like,
contact."
Super predates Batman.
It does.
Yeah.
He does
This
the
is the origin of the Batman voice.
He is the Batman, or he's the Birdman, which is just another fun title, the best Batman, Michael Keaton. Sophie wakes up again. Maybe that was a dream, but either way, Calcifer confirms that Howl's days are numbered if he doesn't break the curse. His heart was stolen, and somebody needs to give it back to him, or maybe metaphorically, give Howl hers. We don't know. We don't know. Sophie, Markle, and the Scarecrow push.
No, it's literal.
Yeah, it's pretty literal. Turns out. I thought it was like, oh, she's going to give him his heart or her heart, and they're going to be one, and it's going to fix him.
Yeah.
But turns out his heart's been there the whole time. He could have just crammed it back into his mouth and swallowed
really
that fucking
easy.
thing and been totally fine, but he's just a wuss. Let's see. They pushed the flying plane out, and there's a big old hole left in the castle. Sophie makes dinner for the Witch of the Waste and Hin, and she's like, what a pretty fire. And they're like, okay, we've lost her. That's all she says now. We've lost her. Howl comes to join them and gives Calcifer shit for letting everyone in, but he's not really giving them shit. He's like, "Oh, our family's huge now," and then he's like, "Oh, there's a Scarecrow here too." Turns out there must be a curse on him. Maybe he's the long lost prince we've never talked about. Howl tells them they have to move the castle, but the spell is too strong for Scarecrow. He'll have to hang back, and Scarecrow's like, "Oh, nobody likes me," and everyone's like, "Yeah, we fucking have made that clear, bro. You're creepy as shit."
Oh, I'm the prince. Free me to end the war. But
you would think at some point someone's like, wait a minute, the Scarecrow's hopping up and down, and Kevin's learning Morse code. Kevin, what's he saying? And it's like, I'm the
Free
prince.
me.
Somebody free me, or at least tell my father I'm hungry.
I can end the war.
Yeah.
I can end the war right now, please.
Apparently, they've never seen The Martian. There are ways to communicate that we can all figure out. Howl draws some stuff in chalk and then scoops up Calcifer with his little shovel that you use to clean out kitty litter, and then the whole place goes nuts and redecorates itself, and it looks completely different. The Witch of the Waste is still tripping out while Sophie looks outside and spots her town. Howl added some new rooms because their family is huge now, and he wants everyone to live happily ever after, including a room for a little shop that we'll get to in a second. And then there's a new color on the dial, which will take Sophie to a beautiful garden. He calls it a garden. I'm gonna call this a glen because it's bigger than a garden. It's just a huge, huge opening of flowers.
Wow.
What's a glen?
And then
What's the difference between a pond and a lake then?
a pond, as we all
Remember,
decided.
if you swim in a pond, you're an asshole.
Hold on.
If you
Like,
swim in a
wait. Belinda seems like she actually had an answer.
No, she was just saying pond is smaller. We know a pond is
okay.
smaller, but at what point does a pond become a lake? At what point does a garden become a glen?
I
Yeah,
think
don't
that
bring a Glen into this, Andy. That's too
Huge.
far.
Andy put it on the poll. What's a glen and why? Let's see. For a moment, Sophie turns young again. Howl shows her his cute little cottage, and Sophie isn't having it. She's got a weird feeling of that. She's like, I think you're leaving, and then she pledges to stay. She's like, I'm going to stay with you, and he's like, well, you can use this when I leave. All these flowers to make a flower shop. I think you'd be pretty good at that. And she's like, why don't you? I like to fucking clean, bro. If you haven't figured this out already, my goal in life is to have the #1 janitorial staffing company in all of Port Haven. So get out of my way.
She was like, hey, bro, I don't do your job.
Yeah. Do I do your job? Good point, man. Put the gloves down. Put the gloves down, Tim. Those are mine. They're interrupted by a flying ship, and Hal uses his magic to sabotage it. But when it does so, his arms turn all crow-like and stuff. And she's like, "Oh man, this guy's just dark." You know, he's troubled.
That shit was
you know what, Belinda? He's troubled, and troubled dudes are just when they wear tight pants and rock roll bands. You're like, "Oh man, I want to save this guy. I want to save him before he hits his heroin phase." Solomon's henchmen chase after them, so Hal makes like a bird and gets out of there. He drops Sophie off through the porthole door, which leaves her back.
Thanks for that, Nick.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
I'm glad
much.
one person picked out that one. Let's make like a tree and get out of here. Howl flies through the. Let's see. Sophie tucks in the witch. Solomon's henchman. Yeah. Anyway, she gets back into the house. She tucks the Witch of the Waste in. She knows Sophie is in love with Howl, and she's like, "You're in love with him," and she herself is still in love with him. And she's like, "Dude, just be careful because I know one when I see one, and it's ruined me." And she's like, "Yeah, well, you're a psychopath, and I'm not." Howl flies to the front and surveys the war zone. It is horrible. Sophie's mom shows up the next day and freaks out when she sees her daughter, but not too much. She's like, "Well, you're old now. That sucks." And then she asks her daughter for forgiveness. And then Sophie's like, "Yeah, I don't really. It's not really about you, Mom. Why are you making it about you?" She's like, "Well, guess what? I got married again to a super rich guy." And you're like, "All right, well, just go off to the Bahamas with him and leave me all summer, and I'll just figure it out on my own." Of course, when she leaves a little purse, and the Witch of the West figures out what's going on. She reaches in and discovers a peeping bug, and then burns it.
Palantir.
Yeah. Once gone, Sophie's mom breaks character, and she's like, "I did what you told me to. Now take me to my husband." And you're like, "Oh, you're terrible."
She burns the Palantir. Is that what it is?
No, I just threw in the Palantir because the Palantir is the seeing eyes from Lord of the Rings.
So she throws in the fire, and the fire like pretty much just turns into smoke, right? And then she finds the cigar, and she's like, "Oh yeah, cigar.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
sure
like,
this isn't poison."
It's fucked up. Yeah, this
You
whole
would think
part
that-
is really unsettling.
It's really weird. She starts smoking that stogie and vows to never let Sullivan get a hold of Howl, but he's got a hold of her. And Markle opens a window despite the waste telling him not to do so. Califer, of course, is being weakened by the stogie smoke. He won't be able to fend off Sullivan's henchmen when they come in. And sure enough, bombs start dropping and all hell breaks loose and they start coming through the front door. Howl tries to redirect one of the bombs and it lands in the courtyard without exploding. He's still sexy crow mode. He tries to nurse Calcifer back to health and then asks where the Witch of the Waste got that stogie, which clearly is fucking with Calcifer, and everyone's like, "Oh, right."
I do love the way the creep blobby men are animated when they try to go in, and then the spell kind of just sucks them all out.
Yeah.
I love the way that looks because whenever they, not only in this scene but also in that one introduction scene, whenever they are kind of in tight corridors, they were all just bunched together, and it looks really cool. But I love the way that this obviously this. It reminds me of Game of Thrones where the walkers can't go into that little place where the tree people live.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You remember that part when
Children.
whenever they enter, the
Yeah,
children of
yeah,
the whatever the fuck they're called, when they
It's
just
the
break
hold
down
the door part.
Yeah, exactly.
What a
Yeah,
disappointing end to that.
Let's not do that.
Let's not get into that right now.
Let's watch The Hobbit. Sophie begs Howl not to go outside and fight, but he's like, "I'm tired of running, man. I've been running my whole life." She's like, "Well, you're 20." And then he goes, "I finally have something worth protecting. I'm going to stay right here and fight. And that thing worth protecting is you, Sophie. You and you alone." And then Markle in the corner is like, "Oh, man." And then he goes upstairs to his giant porn collection and just rolls around in his cum socks. You know what I mean? And
Stop.
he just,
You
I
see
don't
what
care
you
if it's
did?
going to cut me or not.
Now
I don't
you've
care if it
you've
lacerates
shown
my
him
face.
like, hey, here's the cum
Look
sock
what
door.
you did.
If you open it, you can go
Here's the
through it.
Comstock door. No, don't go in that door, guys.
That's
Stay
that's
out.
the pearly white door. Let's see. She watches. Hal flies off to take out, I would imagine, Suleiman, but it turns out he doesn't. He just takes out a big old bomber. And then Sophie turns the porthole back into the castle. She watches as the shop in Port Haven is bombed. Far in the distance, Monster Hal is ripping through a bomber. Sophie orders everyone out of the castle. When she takes Calcifer out, the whole place collapses. They head back in and make a fire. I don't know why they had to leave the castle. I'm not quite sure what the whole point of that one was, but it was a cool visual. They head back in and make a fire. They're no longer attached to the hat shop. Apparently, that's what, I guess, crumpling the castle was what detached them from all the doors, so they're safe now from the henchmen. They have to move the castle.
It was to show him that the castle was no longer attached, because as long as they were in the castle, they were no longer in the other house, right?
Oh, right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to, and then she goes, "We have to move the castle and warn." That's right, Howl. But Calcifer, doesn't think he can do it by himself. He needs Sophie's help, or more specifically, her braid. He cuts her hair and then swallows it and summoning all his powers. He eats the braid, and then the castle comes to life, albeit a few pounds lighter than it used to be.
Shit.
Very cool visual. The Witch of the Waste looks into the hearth and spots the source of Calcifer's power. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's Howl's heart. She takes it for herself because the whole castle is going haywire, and she's always wanted this heart. The heart from let's see. I'm sorry. Sophie uses a bucket of water to put out the heart because it lights the Witch of the West on fire, leaving just the glowing blue heart in its place. The castle breaks apart, and Sophie's half plummets down to the gorge below. Hin finds Sophie sobbing and sitting on her legs, and she's like, "Damn it, I killed Calcifer and Howl, and everything's dead, and I fucked up." Just then, the charm ring Howl gave her glows blue and emits a guiding light to lead her to Howl, and she's like, "Oh, cool." She investigates and finds a door. When she goes through, it goes to a very, very dark place. Summoning her courage, she follows the charm's guide light in. Hin goes into MVP. I'm just saying. Once inside, Sophie discovers the interior of Howl's cute cottage, where he spent a lot of time alone thanks to his uncle. His words, not mine. Sophie looks into the sky and spots the psychedelic koosh balls exploding everywhere. They light up the glen.
Koosh balls. Wow.
Reveal young Howl. I know. I always make that reference. You guys are like, I don't know what a koosh ball is. But for the 5 people who are listening to this that are above the age of 40, I got you, boo.
I don't know what a koosh ball is.
A koosh ball is like an old toy, Kevin, that
I know what it is.
they were really
hairy
colorful
one, right?
and like they had
Harry's
like,
a good word. Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
look
it's
very
hairy
awesome.
balls.
Scary.
Rubber.
And actually, if you put a stick on them, they're great for cleaning out the old cum sock. The charm ring breaks, and Sophie is sucked back.
No, we
into
can't
reality.
take things back, Nick.
She calls out to Howl to find
3
her
times?
in the future. I mean, Andy started this, and he knows that he started this.
You guys,
That is the
Andy,
worst.
No,
Nick,
no,
that's
Andy,
the
you
worst
know that.
mentality. Nick's mentality as a co-founder of the company is always, guys, when I say awful stuff and Andy laughs, I want to keep doing it.
Yeah, I know, but like,
Andy-
unfortunately, we all know it's true. You know what I mean? He's
Can we
just
go around
trying
the
to
table?
impress
Can we
you.
not agree that Andy's laugh is is angelic, and we want to hear it all the
All
time?
right, I'm gonna
And then I ask
just
you
I'm gonna go ahead
follow-up
and change the
question.
subject again. Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
There it is.
Not after.
Let's see.
Not
So
after that.
she calls out to Howl as she's bouncing to find her in the future. She knows how to help him now. She's like, "I'll find you. I will find you. I will find you. I will find you."
What is that from?
I also love how when Hal turns into monster bird, how he just sounds like Dark Knight. It just reminds me.
Straight up.
Yeah, I love
straight
it.
up. Sophie and Hin fall back into reality, and Hin is not having it. He's pissed and snacky. Sophie finds Hal waiting for her when she gets back through the doorway. She apologizes for coming too late
Wait,
and gives him a little smooch, and then
I have a
tells him to
question.
take her to Calcifer. What's up?
So the black door, what's the deal there? It led to the past, or what? Can someone explain what happened? Because I guess I'm too stupid to figure it out.
It's magic. Forget what you know.
Yeah, it like led to the past. It's like a sort
But did
of
it
a
always lead to the past? or-
Kevin, it's like
No,
it's like I would say it's like when Harry Potter is like, oh, that's my dad, and it ended up being him the whole time. You know,
I mean,
that's what it reminds me
oh,
of.
There it is.
Come on, guys, that was really cool though. That was
That
one
was
of
a
those
cool
things where
moment.
it was
Yeah,
like,
that was
oh,
one
He's
cool
like, I'm gonna see my
moment.
dad.
They answered it with time traveling, and then
Yeah,
Hold on,
not
so
a
much
whole lot of
cooler
other
too
cool
when-
moments in that.
There you
franchise.
go. There you go.
So much cooler too when they were like, "Hey, definitely want to see what the humans are doing over on fucking Rohan Rock over here." While we give the story really give a shit about is two little people
Rohan
climbing a fucking
Rock.
mountain.
Rohan Rock.
Me and Kevin are like, we climbed that fucking mountain
Hey,
faster
bro,
than those two little stupid
count
it
the
went
hobbits.
up
awards,
so
bro.
slow.
Count
There
the
were
awards.
steps in it. They didn't have to
Count
Check
the
climb.
fucking-
Check the scoreboard, bro. Check the
Bro,
scoreboard.
you want to check the scoreboard? What's the metric for success? Because I'm pretty sure Harry Potter made $1 trillion.
Well, yeah, those
$1 trillion.
94
Trillion with a
movies.
T, dude.
Yeah, but still, if you
Trillion.
add all the time up, still
Oh,
1 minute
no.
less than all 3 Lord of the Rings extended editions. I digress. Sophie finds Howl waiting for her. She recognizes him. Yeah, okay. Markle, let's see. She apologizes for coming too late. She kisses him and tells him to take her to Calcifer. Hin comes too because again he's snacking and there's no snacks here. Markle and Scarecrow and the Witch of the Waste ride what's left of the castle, and I love this visual because it's just a platform with legs. They're riding high above on a ridge, and Howl and Sophie land, and Howl's feathers disappear, and he's like, I'm very vulnerable right now, and he's like, but I'm still wearing tight pants. Sophie walks to the witch and begs her for Howl's heart. She at first she doesn't want to give it to him, but then she makes Sophie promise to take care of it and then gives it back. She asks Calcifer if she can put him back in, and he thinks about it for a second. He's like, I think it'll be okay, but I'm not quite sure. Saying a little prayer, she returns Howl's heart to his chest. Calcifer, of course, explodes back out and turns back into the falling star, or the psychedelic koosh ball, as I called him, and then takes off. And he's like, woohoo, I'm free. And then the commotion breaks the rest of the castle apart, sending it sliding down the hill until Scarecrow breaks their fall with a stick. But of course, that snaps the stick in the process. He has saved them. Sophie runs to thank him for saving them with a little kiss again. And everyone's like, maybe I want a little smooch. He turns into the Lost Prince, the one the king was looking for the whole time, the one that started the war. And now that he returns, the war effort's over. And I'm like, what a
things,
cool-
like, they said it
that's
so
an
many
awesome little
times
side
when
effect.
it happened. It was like, whoa, this is
Real
coming out of
good
nowhere.
payoff.
That's so cool.
Set up, payoff. Set up, payoff.
Mhm.
That's what good
Turns out
writing
You only
is.
need one side of that.
Yeah, exactly. Just the
payoff.
payoff.
Remember last week when I was just like, he's just like Jay-Z. This is kind of like the Kingdom Come Jay-Z. Like, I don't know about that one. You
You're
should,
crazy. You are absolutely
Great
right.
album.
No,
Great
album.
no, not at all.
I don't understand it. Sophie thanks him. Let's see. Howl rises with the weight of his chest. Having a heart is, in fact, now a heavy burden. And they make a little joke about that. And then Calcifer returns because he missed everyone. And apparently just the cosmos is full of nothing. So he's like, you guys are a lot more fun to hang out with than a fucking endless sea of emptiness. The castle. Let's see. Oh, Calcifer returns, and then of course she gives him a little kiss too, and he's like, "Woohoo!" But I'm not turned to shit because I'm already in my final form. The castle, of course, is now skybound and better than ever. It's got greenery in the garden, and it's much prettier.
Of course it is.
And Howl and Sophie kiss as it flies off into the distance. The end.
The
So we
end.
get an amazing
7
end to the song as well.
syllables in the middle. You need 5 for the first and last line. If you're not poetic, no need to fret it. Haikus don't need to rhyme. Haiku in review. Haiku in review.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to patreon.com/kindoffunny to write your review in haiku form. Just like many of you did. And my God, you guys, my God, I know it was easy. I know the joke was right there. I know it was low hanging fruit. But man, y'all need to be a little nicer to Nick. Just a little bit nicer to Nick and how impossibly old he can be. So I'm only going to read one.
No,
Actually, you know what? I'm going to read two. I'm going to read two
Read
that get after Nick here. Lee Polero writes in and says, Demons and Curses. Sophie turned as old as Nick. Batman is Batman. Because he's kind of like a bat.
Yeah, no, we got it.
Yeah.
Funny.
He's not, though. He's a bird.
I mean, hey. Dade Wilson says, is this what happened to my old man Nicholas? Kev,
Oh, Jesus.
give him a kiss.
Oh, no.
Give him this.
Ew, stop it.
If you kiss me, I'll fly.
Harassment.
Oh, my Lord. Andrew Feisner says, Howl is who we stand. Try to understand. He's a magic man.
Oh, I like
That's
that.
really cool.
That's pretty
It's a
cool.
good one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. That's it. That's all
Because
I'm
he
gonna
does
read.
magic.
All right.
Yeah.
He does magic. Now it is time to rank the MVPs. Currently, we have Yakul from Mononoke. We have Dope Daddy from Totoro. We have Fujiko from Castle of Cagliostro. We have Theo from Porco Rosso. We have the Boiler Guy from Spirited Away. I spelled that wrong. We have the Pirates and Dola Cat from not Dola Cat.
Doja Cat.
Are you starting?
Hold on,
top
I'm
or
fucking up
bottom?
here. Pirates / Dola from Castle in the Sky. Osono
bottom.
from Kiki, and then Tato from Nausicaa. Where do we put who's MVP and where do we put him? I think that it is
I think it's Calcifer.
me
Mhm.
too.
I think it's
And I'll
an
put
easy
him
one.
Mm.
And I also
under
wanna add,
Boiler
fuck
Guy.
that dog.
You're gonna put him under Boiler
Probably a
Guy?
snitch.
I'd
I
put
put him
I'd
underneath. I put him underneath Boulder Guy as well.
Sure,
Me
I'll do
too.
that. Let's do with that. When Harry met Harry.
Somebody said when Harry Potter met Sally.
I said when Harry met Potter.
What?
I love it, man.
That's
It's
good,
all
Andy.
good.
That's real good.
And then it's time to rank the movies now. Currently, number 1, we have Spirited Away. Number 2, we have Princess Mononoke. Number 3, we have Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. Number 4, we have My Neighbor Totoro. 5, Kiki's Delivery Service. 6, Castle of Cagliostro. 7, Porco Rosso. And 8, Castle in the Sky. I put it right below Porco Rosso.
Holy fuck!
I second.
Damn.
I put this below. I put this below Nausicaa, above My Neighbor Totoro. I still love I love the characters. I love the rules of the world. It was still magical and fun, and I really enjoyed Christian Bale just being a whiny bitch.
Yeah, I think it's
But
better than
also-
Porco
but
Rosso.
also sexy.
I would put it over Cagliostro, I think.
So under Kiki?
Yeah.
Kev?
Is Totoro over Kiki?
Yes, it is.
I mean, I agreed with you, Tim.
Okay.
We got to go up the ranks. I'm totally lost. There's too many
me
movies
too.
for me to
That's
keep
why I
track
just
of.
said I agreed with Tim.
Nick, where'd you put it?
I can't. I'm lost.
Okay.
I don't know what the list is. Can we
Can-
go
can
one by
you
one?
make a spreadsheet?
What's up?
Start
Can
from
you
the
make
bottom.
Yeah, just start from
Is
the
it
bottom.
better
Like we used to
than-
do. Is it better than?
Gotcha. Is it better than Castle in the Sky? Raise your hand.
No.
All 5.
Okay.
put my hand
Is it
back.
better than Porco Rosso? Raise your hand.
Oh yeah, it's better than Porco Rosso.
Oh, come on.
Is it better than Castle of Cagliostro? Raise your hand.
I don't think so.
Cool.
Excellent. That's where
So
it
then
stands.
now the rankings are. Hold on. Let me put this
Y'all are
in.
crazy. This is crazy. I don't even know
You're
what I'm
crazy.
a part
The
of
first
anymore,
half of
dude.
this movie is boring.
I don't even know what I'm a
You just
part
like
of
any
anymore,
movie
dude.
that has a freaking wizard that sounds like Saruman. You just like it.
You love that
nostalgic
shit.
for you.
I noticed that too, Nick. I noticed that too.
Nobody
just-
sounded like Saruman.
No,
I like to
name-wise. Name-wise.
Suleiman. I like to imagine Andy the second he heard Suleiman, like he
He
just
was like,
started
"Oh,
grabbing
number
his
2."
blankets and wrapping them into like a gray robe, and he was like, "Oh,
Spirited
Spirited
Away was 2 hours of just whatever, and like
It
and-
was not.
It was
Genius.
2 hours of just like of
Meta.
Miyazaki being like, and then this thing vomits that, and then they pull a bike out of the thing, and they're like, it was just a bunch of bullshit, but it was
He's
still
right.
cool.
He's right.
But this has like the same sort of similar amount of like dumb magic bullshit.
But the
that's
main
suddenly being
characters
called
suck.
But none of the
into action.
characters come out different at the end. really.
She's just
I think that
old
the
looking.
There's no
girl
progression.
solved everything
Yeah,
with
What do you
love.
mean? The girl's the
Great.
flavor.
Number 1, Spirited Away.
Remember,
Number
she
2,
goes to
Princess
the
Dark
Mononoke.
Hole.
Number 3, Nausicaa and the
All
Valley of the
proud.
Wind. Number 4, My Neighbor Totoro. Number 5, Kiki's Delivery Service. Number 6, Castle of Cagliostro. Number 7, Howl's Moving Castle. Number 8, Porco Rosso. And number 9, Castle in the Sky. We have 2 movies remaining in this, Ponyo and The Wind Rises. I hear Ponyo has a slap and a half of a song. I'm excited about that.
Ponyo
But next,
Ponyo.
Ponyo. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out.
Ponyo
next week.
Rosso.
Happy
Exactly.
birthday, Belinda.
Happy birthday, B.
This Friday, we're doing Mulan in review. Then next Tuesday, we're starting with Batman in review. Exciting times.
Yes.
Till then, love you.